Your thyroid is very sensitive to weight loss. So, if you are suffering from an eating disorder, it is very likely that you are experiencing shifts in the way that your thyroid is functioning. These can be dangerous and can cause all sorts of other shifts, such as in hormonal imbalances, extreme hunger, or even lack of appetite. My name is Sheena, and I'm a registered dietitian specializing in the care of persons with eating disorders. Suffering from an eating disorder, you may notice some abnormalities when it comes to your thyroid function. Unfortunately, this is oftentimes misdiagnosed, and many times healthcare providers will blame the shifts in the thyroid function for excessive weight loss. Unfortunately, the malnutrition is often the very thing that is causing those shifts in the thyroid function. This includes both very low energy intake in its entirety as well as low carbohydrate intake. So let's talk about some of the complex relationships that thyroid has with impacting your appetite as well as your hormones. Oftentimes, the labs that we need to look for when we're experiencing malnutrition is something called the thyroid stimulating hormone. You can see a decrease in TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone in both secretion and circulation when we're experiencing malnutrition. So this may be low in lab values. The reason for this is a little scientifically jargony, but basically, we have what is called an increased inactive RT3 or reverse T3 causes us to preserve energy. And this is good from the biology's perspective because if we're starving, we want to conserve all the energy we can, so essentially we don't perish. It is in the way that our body uses energy, or what is called the resting energy expenditure, are going to create all sorts of other shifts in the body. So, for example, we're going to experience shifts in hormones like ghrelin, leptin, neuropeptide Y, cortisol, etc. Ghrelin and leptin are the hormones that are primarily responsible for hunger and fullness. And we're oftentimes going to see an uptick in ghrelin as a result of some of those thyroid changes because our body, again, is trying to cause us to experience greater hunger levels so we don't perish. It's all in the body's best interest. In the thyroid and changes in our we're also going to experience an uptick in what is called neuropeptide Y. Makes sense because that is the hormone that causes us to have an increase in craving carbohydrate rich foods, which are oftentimes the things that are being the most restricted in a person with an eating disorder and exacerbating those changes in the thyroid function even further. It's kind of a chicken and the egg scenario when we're thinking about what comes first, the thyroid changes or the shifts in the hormones, but they both heavily impact one another. Absolutely need to increase our total energy intake as restore any weight loss, potentially have some overshoot weight, regain that is greater than even where we started before we lost the weight in order for our thyroid to resume its normal functioning, as well as get all of those hormones in check. One thing you're also going to really want to look for on the lab values is we want to ask our provider to check what is called our free T3 and free T4. Sometimes our thyroid stimulating hormone might have no changes to it, but we may be experiencing changes in the free T3 and free T4. If this information is helpful for you. If so, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing with a friend.